Hello everyone, it's MC Art Guy here, and today I have some Model Magic with me. They're kind of old, so I'm not sure if they're going to be dried out or not. But anyway, today I'm going to be using Model Magic, and I'm going to be making a character from the Model Magic. Yeah. So I'm going to be making a character from the Model Magic, and then I'm going to paint over it because, obviously, it's not going to be all red with a little bit of blue. So I'm going to paint over it with some white paint, and then I'm going to use some acrylics and go over that. So that should be fun. And before we get started with that, make sure that you're subscribed down below and you hit the like button, and let's get started with the video. Alright, so let's see if this guy is dried out or not. Yeah, I'd say it's kind of dried out. I'm gonna see what I could do. Maybe I could try reviving it with some water. Maybe that'll help it. The water didn't work. It's all wet and slimy now. I think I should look up how to revive it if I can, because it probably air dried in the package. Okay, so that got nowhere. I think I'm just gonna open up this one from 2011, and it still feels pretty soft, so let's see here. Ooh, look at that! It's soft. Okay, so now that I have it out, I gotta work really quickly. So I'm going to be making a Hold on. I said corgi, but when I started making my corgi, it kind of looked like a pig. Right there, yeah. So just ignore I said corgi. And I guess I could use this loaf here to put my stuff to dry. Alright, so let's get started with that. So instead of making a corgi, I decided to make a goose. Yes. So it actually took me 2 times to get it the way that I wanted to. You'll see me attach this beak here, and then I just kind of smush it together because it didn't really work. But then I shaped the head again, and I really liked the way that looked. It looked a little bit more realistic than it was the first time that I tried the goose. And here I'm just sculpting the beak, trying to make sure everything looks good. And I'm using the backs of paintbrushes and pencils to add details because I don't really have the clay or modeling tools to do the fancy little detailing or whatever. So I made do with what I had. And I'm using the bristles of the paintbrush to attempt to smooth out the areas where I put things together, just trying to make it look seamless. Yeah. And here you'll see that I have the neck for the goose completed, and that's attached to the head. And here I am working on sculpting the body. And to stabilize the head, I shoved a paperclip in his head. But it's okay, he's fine, all good. And yeah, so here I'm just trying to cover up where the paperclip is. I'm taking a little bit more clay, and I'm just covering up the area where the paperclip was placed. Yes. And here I am sculpting the wings for the goose, and I'm trying to make one wing look like it's pressed up against his body. And I'm making the other one, like, out, like he's waving or saying hi. He's friendly. Now, let's just not go calling this goose Goose. He needs a name, so let's name him Oswald. Everyone say hello, Oswald. Hi, Oswald. Oh, okay, thank you. So, yeah, I was just attaching the wings to the body, and here I'm trying to make feet for Oswald, but I realized, yeah, wouldn't work, didn't really look great. So here's what Oswald looks like after I was done sculpting. Yes, very nice, very nice. Okay, so it's the next day, and it's still actually not really hardened yet, but it should be okay. So I have my paint palette, and I have this big 8-ounce tube of white acrylic paint. The ink on the label got smudged, but that's okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go over the goose with a layer of white paint. So the reason you want to have a base coat of white paint on something like this is because the surface originally was red, and that's not the color that I wanted Oswald to be. So by putting down a layer of white, that just kind of blocks or cancels out any other color, and you just have a fresh base or a fresh coat so you can paint whatever you want over it, and it won't be red. Here I tried to do a transition between base coats. Ooh, there was another one. I don't know how well I pulled that off, but you can't really tell the difference between base coats. Here I'm mixing up my light blue paint because that's the color that I want Oswald to be, light blue. And I just made this light blue by mixing like a sky blue color and a lot of white, and you get this little baby pastel blue. Here I'm mixing up a light pastel orange for his beak. And that's what he looks like after the first coat of color. Here's another transition. Ooh. And that's Oswald after his second layer of color. And here I'm painting his eyes a darker blue, and I'm using a small fine detail brush for this. And I added the little pupils in with some black. And I added in the highlights with some white. And now it's time to sign my signature. But it was out of focus for most of the time. And here is the Mod Podge. And the reason that you want to put Mod Podge on is so you can protect your artwork or your paint or whatever from damage or just overall carnage, you know. It just helps to protect your paint. So I'm applying a couple layers of that. And this is what Oswald looks like when he's finished. I think he turned out pretty good. I'm really happy about the way he looks. Thank you for watching. Please remember to subscribe, and I'll see you next video. Bye-bye.